It's Deuce loosely, the devil's favorite advocate. Tastes just like chicken. I usually pick on specific things, like specific wrestlers, as far as like so and so just totally sucking, or so and so not being used right, or not being booked properly, or not working with so and so, or whatever. I'll even, and I usually pick on WWE because, let's face it, what's not to pick on these days. But I'm not going to get into many specifics in terms of people or federations or anything like that. What I want to do is discuss briefly this attitude that's been kind of pervasive lately. And it kind of goes along with the way WWE has been sucking the past several months. Actually, the past few years, but it's been on a steady decline. I'll say that, it used to be good. It was good a few years ago, but I think what's been going on lately... Okay, I'll start now and work my way back. Right now, Raw is in such a place that people... it's not even a matter of, my favorite person didn't get the rub, or they didn't get the push that they deserved, or, so-and-so got fired in storyline, or, this guy that I don't like is back in action, or whatever. And you know what? That's creative's fault, creative or lack thereof, whatever you want to call the writing team. It's their fault that these things are happening, and it's pretty much, it's at least half their fault that WWE sucks so bad and makes as little sense as it does. So, and it got to this point at a steady decline. And it's been consistent over the past several months, especially since the network is launched. Before the network launched, it was kind of on a noticeable decline. Steadily, slowly, but, it was still noticeable. Noticeable by some people anyway, those who were observant enough to catch it. Those of us who watch week after week after week, we usually don't notice just how bad things are getting until one day we have to snap awake and go, this actually is kind of bad. I wonder when this happened. The truth of the matter is, it's been happening slowly, gradually, week after week over the past few years at least. And it happens so slowly that, like I said, some people don't notice. But, and it's because of this that people now, at this time, when WWE is so bad, people have decided to give it a pass. They've decided to become passive about it. They are being almost forgiving, dismissive, if you will. And they're just like, there's still some good things about it, we'll just, go on to next week, or, it's like, why don't you stop watching if it's so bad? And you know what? I really would, if I didn't have some kind of fading faith that it will get better, especially with it being WrestleMania season. Things usually pick up around this time, but this year seems to be different. This year, something is wrong, and I think a lot of it has to do with the network not living up to the expectations of Vince and company. It's not making the money that they thought it would. It's not bringing in the subscribers like they wanted it to, and it's failing. Let's face it, it's failing. And the projected subscribership that they needed it to break even, they're still not even really close to that. So, I'm being generous and giving it until the end of 2015 before it folds, because it will, I predict, go the way of XFL. It will fold, just like, any of other Vince McMahon's ambitious projects, but I digress. Anyway, as far as this attitude that people are having about Raw in general, or WWE in general, they'll make all sorts of excuses. They will give it all sorts of passes for being as bad as it is. They'll blame this thing, they'll blame that thing, but they will not look inward. They'll even take to hating on other federations, on other wrestling promotions. They will talk about how bad or how shitty or how small or whatever these other federations are, but they're not going to look inward and say, what, things are really bad here. Maybe I should try watching one of these other programs. I mean, we have New Japan, they're starting their own network. We have Global Force Wrestling, who is actually in cahoots with New Japan. Ring of Honor, they're going to start doing shows with New Japan. AAA, they have the Lucha Underground show, which is making a lot of waves. It's gaining a lot of fans, and for good reason. It's an excellent show. Hell, TNA did a major reboot over this past week. This move that they made to Destination America was the best possible thing for them, and it showed in pretty much every respect. The production value went up. Josh Matthews on commentary was excellent. They started everything off. They started their new home with a bang. They had an excellent show. Just little things here and there that you notice about the production now as opposed to the production when they were on Spike TV. It's all different. It's a huge difference, and it works. It works on pretty much every level. And people seem to have this feeling that they're stuck with WWE, that this is the only thing that they have. And if they would just venture out into the world and look at all these other things that are available, hell, even this internet-based, it's not a pay-per-view, it's what WWE would call a special event. It's called Raw Alternative, and it's on Facebook. It's, kind of a special event that they're throwing together to go head-to-head on January 19th, head-to-head against Raw. They're going to put together a 3-hour program of the best matches from a bunch of other independent shows, and they're attempting to give people something else besides the suckfest that is WWE Raw. And I, for one, am going to tune in. I am going to take advantage of this alternative. I think you should too. And while you're at it, you need to think about, why are you giving passes to WWE? Why are you excusing Raw? Why are you taking the one or two bright moments and saying, oh, Raw wasn't so bad, when you add it all up? The negatives far outweigh the positives. It's almost like the scale is almost completely tipped in the negative direction, except for those one or two few bright spots that you managed to pick out of Raw. People need to stop giving WWE a pass. They need to stop being so forgiving and so dismissive, because WWE set their own precedent long ago, and they have failed to live up to it over the past 3, 4, maybe 5 years, and it just keeps getting worse. So stop making excuses. Stop giving them more rope to hang themselves with. Stop giving them a pass. Don't give them your ratings points. Just say, hey, until you guys improve your product, we're going to look elsewhere for our wrestling. It's like, we're sick of bad drama. If we want bad drama, we'll tune into the soaps in the afternoons on the network TV. It's like, why do we need 3 hours of this every Monday night? Why do we need a 2-hour show to recap those awful 3 hours every Friday night? So people Stop being so dismissive. Stop being so forgiving. You know, show these people at WWE that you mean business. Tell them how bad they've become. Tell them you mean it. Tell them this is serious stuff. You're not what you were before. You need to get back to it. You need to compare what you used to do, put it side by side with what you're doing now. Listen to your fans. They're trying to tell you what works and what doesn't. People of WWE, just do it. Just stop, okay? We're tired of the crap, and everyone who watches Raw, and all of you people who are being so dismissive and so forgiving, just please stop.